In this lecture on entrepreneurial marketing, we're going to start talking about locating the perfect customer, the customer that we want to work with and for the right reasons. So before we get into that, we want to look at a definition, and this is a somewhat academic definition. It's a little cumbersome when you first read it, but let's take a look at this definition. It's going to help guide us over the next several lectures. Entrepreneurial marketing is a proactive identification and exploitation of opportunity to obtain and maintenance profitable customers through innovative perspectives on risk management, value creation, and entrepreneurial resource navigation. Okay, so we're going to focus on just one part of that right now. We're going to talk about the part where it talks about identification and exploitation of opportunity to obtain and maintenance profitable customers. So there is a process that we go through to find the right customer, to work with that customer, but also that customer gives back to us in the form of it's the right customer, it's the customer that fits our business and is right for our longer term objectives. So we're going to get into how we go about that. So how do we identify a potential good customer for our future business? Well, ideal customers are easy to locate, they allow you to charge the right price, and they're willing to try your product after minimal marketing expense. If you think about this and try and relate it to a few real world scenarios, you will realize that there are people that are interested in your idea. And you can ask people, you can pitch your idea to people, and they'll say, oh yeah, I would do that. And you might have in your mind that this should cost $10. And if you ask them, hey, what would it be worth to you? They might say it's worth 99 cents. Well, the fact that they're willing to try it, but not at the right price, doesn't make them a good customer. And so it's hard sometimes to figure out exactly what the right customer is. And I would say this is the part of our original venture, our value proposition, and getting it to market that is the hardest for us to clarify. And this is where a lot of our initial ideas start to break down, because we might be able to find a lot of customers that are interested, but they're not interested at the right price. Or we might be able to find customers that are interested at the right price and maybe even more, but there's just not enough of those to turn it into a scalable business model. And if you remember back to our definition, that temporary organization of a startup is in place to find both revenue and ultimately profit. So they're trying to find something that is repeatable and scalable. And those are some key terms as we're in this pursuit of entrepreneurial marketing. So can we generate enough business profit from the customers we identify to meet our objectives? Now, something to remember, even though we're trying to gather feedback from our customers, sometimes by just asking and a little bit of testing, sometimes we don't identify exactly why a customer will work with us. Think back to our case study on coffee. It's probable that in 1987, nobody was willing to pay what it would cost for an espresso machine inside your own home or inside your business. And that might be why that business failed originally. But if you fast forward to 2012, 2013, the economy is richer, people have more disposable income, even middle class and lower class people, they have flat screen TVs, they have cars for the most part. In a lot of countries, that middle class is very, very wealthy by standards of history. And so we might be able to do something now that we couldn't do just a year ago, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. And so it's important that as we're gathering this data from these customers, that we're not taking every single question that they answer at full face value. We still have to be very smart about, are they the right demographic? The feedback that this customer is giving me, is this perfectly applicable to what I'm selling or what I'm doing? And should I really trust it? And it works both ways. It's a double-edged sword. Sometimes we ask our own mom if our idea is great. No matter how bad that idea is, she's going to tell you it's awesome. But sometimes we ask a friend and they're brutal just because they want to be critical and maybe there's some other issue there. And so we want to be careful who we ask and how we ask, and then ask questions to figure out more details. And so we'll get into this a little bit later on, but finding the right customer isn't just about will they buy, but will they buy at the right price. In the next lecture, we're going to talk a little bit more about verticals and how we approach different markets.